Hello there and welcome to A2 Maths from Specimen Paper 1, and here we're looking at question 4, a vectors question. So relative to a fixed origin O, the point A has a position vector 1, 7, minus 2. We could effectively think of these as coordinates. We can think of this as 1, 7, minus 2. The next position B has a position vector of 4, 3, 3. And position C has a position vector of 2, 10, 9. Given that ABCD is a parallelogram, find position vector of point D. So let's draw out the diagram then. Let's go A, B, C, D, and then back to A. So this is point A, this is point B, this is point C, and this is point D. So point A has coordinate 1, 7, minus 2. I'm a really pictorial-based vectors person, so I like to draw out my vectors questions with a diagram 2, 10, 9. So because the diagram has been labelled A, B, C, D, D has to be in this position here, in between A going back round, so in between C and going back round to A. So what would be a good idea to do is if I was to work out the vector from, I don't know, B to C, and then I can just add that vector onto A to get from A to D, because B to C is the same vector as A to D. So to work out the vector from B to C, I do position coordinate C, which is 2, 10, 9, take away position vector B, which is 4, 3, 3, and then I get 2 minus 4, that's minus 2, 10 minus 3 is 7, 9 minus 3 is 6. So that's how I get from B to C. This is going to be the same vector as how I get from A to D. So D is going to be position A plus the vector from B to C, because it's going to be going in the same direction. If it's a parallelogram, then the sides are going to be the same vectors. So position A is going to be 1, 7, minus 2. Plus the direction vector from B to C, because this line here is going to be the same as this line here. That's going to be minus 2, 7, 6. So therefore it's going to be 1 plus minus 2, that's minus 1. 7 plus 7 is 14. And minus 2 plus 6 is 4. So there we are, that's the position vector for D. Let's write it out how they've written it in the question. It's going to be minus I plus 14j plus 4k. So there we are, that's the answer for part A then. Moving on to part B, the vector from A to X has the same direction as A to B. Given that the distance from A to X is 10 root 2, find the position vector of X. Okay, so let's go from A to B. Now X could either be extended from B, or it could be a shortened distance from A. So X is somewhere along this line from A to B, if we continue it. Now what would be quite interesting to know is if it has the same direction as A to B, well, what is that direction from A to B? So let's work out that direction vector. We do B minus A to work that out. So 4, 3, 3, minus 1, 7, minus 2. So 4 minus 1, that's 3. 3 minus 7 is minus 4, and 3 minus minus 2 is 5. Okay, so what would be interesting to do now is to work out the distance from A to B, and then we can see what the scale factor multiplier is from A to B to A to X. So this is going to be the Pythagorean distance of 3 squared plus 4 squared plus 5 squared, which is going to be, well, I know that that combined makes 25, so it's going to be 25 plus 25 is 50, so that's going to be 5 root 2. So if A to X is equal to 10 root 2, then we can clearly see here that the scale factor from A to B to A to X is equal to 2. So if the scale factor is 2, then when we start at A, then the position coordinate for X is going to be twice the distance as it would have been from A to B. So what we're going to do then is we're going to double the vector from A to B. So that's going to be 2 lots of 3 minus 4, 5. 3 minus 4, 5 was how we got from A to B, so that's going to be 6 minus 8, 10. And then we're going to add it back on to the end of A. So A plus 2 lots of the distance from A to B is going to be, position A is 1, 7 minus 2. And then we're going to add on 2 lots of this A to B vector, which is 6 minus 8, 10. There's nothing at the front there, I accidentally made a mistake there. So 1 plus 6, that is 7. 7 plus minus 8 is minus 1. Minus 2 plus 10, that is 8. So coordinate x is at the coordinate 7i minus j plus 8k. So there we are, that's the answer to this question here then. So we've worked out the distance, worked out how we get from A to B first, then we worked out what the distance from A to B was, that was 5 root 2, spotted that the scale factor was a factor of 2, so we needed to double the distance to get from A to x. So the way we got from A to B was 3 minus 4, 5, doubled that to get 6 minus 8, 10, so that was the way that we get from A to x. Then we start at A and then add on that vector and we get to 7 minus 1, 8. So there we are, 5 marks for that question then. That's question 4. Let's now move on to question 5.